Hey y'all, welcome back. If you got my video a couple of days ago, I had to replace this water trough out in the pasture because this one's got a few holes in it, a few little pinhole leaks. And I told you I was going to show you how to repair this joker. So today we finally have a sunny day. I've got a little bit of time, so I figured I'd go ahead and show you how to do this. Let me go around and grab some tools real quick and I'll be right back. Well, I see you made it back. Wait a minute. I told you this was going to be a no weld application, didn't I? Okay, well, we're not going to need this. Well, let me grab the camera here, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that we are going to need. First tool in our arsenal is going to be this 90-degree grinder. This has just got a sanding disc on there. You could probably even put a disc similar to this in a cordless drill. This thing's just, I've got it around, it's convenient. It's what I'm going to use. Next we're going to use some mineral spirits. That's going to clean up the base metal when we get done. Going to have a hand roller. I'm using sponge rollers there. That's going to help us spread out our product. Next you want some black work gloves. Always use chemical resistant gloves anytime that I deal with any chemicals. We get enough chemicals in the environment every day anyway. I'm not going to help out anything by just bare-handing using this stuff. Of course, a couple of red rags. And this is the product. This is Flex Seal. You can buy this in a spray can. This is a roll-on. You can buy tape. It's got 101 different uses. Once we get to this part, I'll explain more about the product then. Alrighty then, let's get to working on this. This is going to be a noisy job, so I'm going to probably just play some music for you in the background, speed up the process a little bit, and then I'll stop, slow down, and explain the different steps, and we'll just go from there. Real quick, just so that you know what we're working on. See the daylight holes coming through there? You know, it's going to be kind of hard to see them with the camera here. Basically, the whole inside of this is rusted out. A lot of what has caused that is, of course, we live in the woods. Leaves fall in this thing, and I don't always get them out in time, and when they start to decompose, it reacts with the metal, and we have leaks. Here's the underside. Every time you see a little metal, little rust spot, that's where that's come all the way through. So we're going to dress up this bottom side first, then we're going to clean out the inside. Now one thing before we get started here, we're all adults, so I'm not going to go into it a whole lot. There's some things of your body you can't replace. So for me, although I don't always get it right, I try to wear PPE when I can, personal protective equipment. Lose your hearing, you can't get it back. Some piece of metal, part of this abrasive pad breaks down, it goes in your eye, you can't get it back. I was born with 10 fingers, 10 toes, want to keep it that way, so this is my only safety warning on that. If it was me, especially if you're not familiar with these type of tools, I'd get the proper equipment. It's kind of hard to see with the sun today, but you can see where I've sanded down all those rust spots. Big thing to remember, I don't want to make that hole any bigger, so I don't want to take down any more material than I've got to. I'm just getting rid of that surface rust, getting rid of that metal cancer, if you would, or the best that I can. You can see I actually had 2 or 3 pinhole leaks. No wonder I had to go out the pasture all the time and fill up with water. Okay, let me flip this joker over. I'll do the inside of it and we'll go from there. what you can see that I've done so far. I've knocked off the high spots. I've scuffed up a lot of the bottom so that that material is going to adhere in here better. I used that red rag to try to knock out the big chunks. I just tipped it over, knocked the big chunks out. Now I'm getting ready to get those mineral spirits, and that will help take out any oils, residual material, and that'll just make this a super good area for that material to adhere to. Good thing about mineral spirits, when it dries or evaporates, it doesn't leave behind a residual film either. Well, this material's got a lot of information on the can, but some of the things I'm just going to point out, it actually activates in the air. So once we open this can up, I'll pour it out, and I'm going to start rolling it here pretty quick. Be sure to get the lid on. It does say to stir, not shake, so I'm going to do that as soon as I open this up. And then also it says depending upon temperature and humidity, it takes 24 to 48 hours for it to completely settle. And if you need to do another coat, wait until it's completely dry, completely cured before you do another coat. So I'll do this coat, and then I'll actually come back. I'll check it in 24 hours, and then apply another coat if I need to. And I'm going to guess that I will, because this trough's got a lot more holes in it than what I anticipated once I first started. I thought 1 or 2 holes would be a quick fix. This may or may not work for this project, but we'll find out. But anyway, I'll do a second coat on this, and then I'm also going to put a coat on the bottom, just those areas where the holes were coming completely through that I cleaned up there at the beginning of this. So guess it's time to get started. You can kind of see the consistency of that. And what I'm going to do is actually pour it into the bottom of this and then roll it out. And as long as it's still fluid, I might pour more in to make sure I've got a good coat on this bottom. Now the reason I'm using a foam roller is because I want to get a nice smooth spread to this. If you used a nap roller or a brush, there's a chance that you might get an uneven finish. I'm not rolling it out too thin. Just want to gently work it, make sure that all the holes are covered. If you have an area that you think is too thick, you can work that out. A lot of this is going to be by feel. It's certainly not like painting a house, painting the inside of your living room or something like that. It's more of an epoxy type feel. I don't know if you've ever worked with epoxy or not. When I take my rollers off and I know that I'm done with them, I'll grab them with my glove and pull your roller out. Take one glove off, take the other glove off. That contains it. It's not any chemical, there's no chemical on your hand, and you can just throw that away, and it's a pretty good gig. So I figured I'd throw that out there. I try to take the camera. It's kind of hard to see, but I've got a nice smooth coat over the entire surface of this. That foam brush worked out really well. I've got a nice I'm going to guess that I probably have that at about a 1/16 of an inch thickness through there. I'm not going to stick my machinist rule in there to find out, but it's pretty good coating on there. Seemed to be very similar to what epoxy would be. Got several holes right through there that filled up pretty nicely. So that's the first part of this process. Now I'm going to set this in a safe place for it to dry for a couple of days. Let that material cure out. We'll test it. I'll inspect those holes. I'll decide if we need to put another coat on the inside of this, or if I can just get away with putting some coats on the bottom. I think I'm going to go ahead and put another coat on the inside of here, but we'll check this out here in a couple of days and just reevaluate from there. So how is it the kids do some kind of crazy snap to do the time warp, to zap forward? They jump in the TARDIS. I wish we had a TARDIS. You know, I don't know, but I'll be back in a couple of days. For you watching this, it's going to be the next frame. See you in a few. Well, hey guys, it's day 2. I have to admit, on day 1, 24 hours after I put that product in, I went ahead and I put the product on the bottom side of this, just over those holes. And I'm going to admit to you, I set the camera up, had everything in spot, I did everything, and I didn't have the record button on. So you're just going to have to take my word for it that I did that. But on here we are at the 48-hour mark. I want to show you what it looks like on the inside here, and I'm going to go ahead and add one more coat. Sun's pretty bright today. It's going to be kind of hard to see this. If you do notice, this is a nice smooth surface. It did completely cover the bottom. Only a couple of larger holes, like here's one for instance, that I feel that still might be a little bit suspect. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and do another coat over this. Now I'll tell you, typically when I use this product, or when I have used it before in this application, I've only had 1 or 2 holes. In this particular trough, it's had, I counted as like 15 holes that went completely through. So this is definitely going to be a test for this product to see how well it holds up. Like I say, you know, I would certainly recommend it for 1 or 2 holes, 3, 5 maybe. But again, this is the first time I've done the complete bottom of one of these troughs, so I don't even know how it's going to hold up. This will be as much a surprise to me as it is to you. Well, let me go ahead and get the camera set up. We're going to put in that second coat, and then we'll go from there. Again, I'm using that Flex Seal, and just like before, certainly going to be wearing gloves, using my foam roller. And I'm just going to pour this down the length of the trough, and then I'm going to use this roller to spread it out evenly. Want to be sure to get your lid on super tight on your product here. Again, it reacts with air, so it starts setting up just as soon as you open that lid. Okay, it'll be just like we did before. I'm going to start just working it out, try to get a smooth, even layer over the entire surface of this. This foam roller has really worked well. There were no tool marks in the dried product when we got done, and that's exactly what I was looking for. I didn't want to have brush marks or valleys in my finished product. I wanted a nice smooth floor here. We're going to do just like we did before. Take one hand, grasp that roller, that way you can pull your handle off. Take a hand, just cover that guy up. Take another hand, no mess. And you can see that second coat, got a nice even coat over that. So we're going to leave it here for a couple of days, another 48 hours like the can recommends. And we're going to see how it goes from there. So we'll be waiting another 48 hours. and I'm going to promise you this wait is a lot worse for me than it is for you, because within about a half a second I'll be splicing in that last clip and we're going to be able to test this joker to see how it does. For me, I still have to wait another 48 hours. So up until then, I'll see you soon. Hey guys, it's actually been about 3 days since the last time I shot. I wanted to get this out 48 hours later. We've had a ton of rain here, so I wasn't going to do this in the rain. So this will actually be it, the final clip. I'm going to show you what the inside of that final coat looked like. And then we're going to fill this thing up and see if it leaks. You can see through here we didn't have any tooling marks from that brush. And that's exactly what I wanted, was a nice smooth finish. And the reason I was concerned about a smooth finish, anytime you've got a groove on the bottom, you've got a chance for an algae buildup. And it's going to be a lot easier to clean with that nice smooth finish. You can see the water droplets on there, that's just from rain. A couple of things I did want to mention about this. One of the reasons why it took so long, there are so many holes in the bottom of this. Normally that repair is only going to take you the 2 days. You know, just let it cure out. If you only have 1 or 2 holes, that first application, you're not going to have to do the whole floor the way I did on here. You're just going to have to prep those holes and then do a good coat over that, good nice thick coat. So I don't want you to think that it typically takes 4 or 5 days to do a project like this. It really should have only taken 2. One of the things that I did discover on a project this big, had I done it like this, I believe it still would have only taken the 2 days. I probably should have taped the bottom of those holes first so that when I put that first coat on, it would have adhered into those holes and not gone through it. If you recall, the first day I completely covered the bottom of that, and then on the second day, the second 24 hours, I didn't get it on video, but then I put that product on the holes on the bottom side. I believe that if I would have taped that first, I wouldn't have had that problem, that it would have sealed up okay. So I just wanted to throw that out. If you have a big job like this, maybe that would be the way to go. Again, I've only done small repairs. This is the first time I've done one where I had multiple holes basically covering the whole bottom of the trough. So this is going to be pretty exciting for me as it is for you to see how it's going to do. Oh, and one other thing I didn't mention, sometimes I just take it for granted. As you can see, I've been working on the back of my bed here. But you definitely want to do this in an open area. It had pretty good fumes coming off there when I was putting that product originally in there. So definitely do this in a well-ventilated area. If you're going to do it inside, like in your garage or whatever, make sure the door's open, make sure you got good ventilation, because I bet you it's going to make you a little loopy if you don't do that. But anyway, I just wanted to throw those notes out there, just something to think about. So let's get this joker filled up and see what happens. Well, there you have it. Baby duck approved. A couple of questions you might have. One, how long is this going to last? That I don't have a definitive answer for. What I can tell you is the last time I done this was a couple of years ago. That trough is still holding. And then the other question you can ask yourself, where do I get that? Again, this is the product that I used, and I actually put a link down below. Now I should be sure to point out that company didn't pay me to do this. They didn't offer me anything. They don't even know I exist. But it's something that I use around here. It's a farm hack that I use. So I figured I'd share with you guys, maybe save you $1, you know, instead of buying a new trough right away. That'll give you a little bit of a repair. So until next time, I'll see you next video.